I once believed that success was measured by what I owned, how I appeared to others, and how well I could keep up with the world's endless expectations. It wasn't just about wanting a good life. It was about wanting to be seen as successful, as someone who had it all. The problem was, I didn't truly understand what having it all meant, and in my pursuit of this illusion, I lost more than I ever thought possible. Growing up, I wasn't naturally competitive, but the world around me taught me to be. Friends compared grades, neighbors compared houses, and social media compared entire lives. I watched people my age achieving milestones I hadn't yet reached, and it ignited a silent panic within me. If they had it, I needed it too. If they didn't have it, I would want it even more. Social media played a massive role in shaping my perception of success. Every time I scrolled through my feed, I saw people looking flawless, living luxurious lives, traveling the world, eating extravagant meals, and surrounded by beautiful people. They seemed to have it all: freedom, wealth, and happiness, without ever having to work for it. I convinced myself that this was the life I was supposed to have, that I should be in that picture too. But reality hit me hard. I couldn't afford any of it. The more I chased that illusion, the more I felt like a failure for not living up to it. My first job was decent, but not glamorous. My salary was enough to live on, but not enough to impress. So I spent beyond my means, first on brand name clothes that made me look wealthier, then on a sport car that spoke of cool. I told myself it was an investment, that appearances mattered. The truth was, I cared less about the utility of these things and more about how they made me appear to others. I wanted admiration, recognition, and to be seen as someone who had made it. It wasn't just material things. I was also obsessed with getting the attention of beautiful women. I dated them, but I was never serious about relationships. I thought that being surrounded by attractive women would validate my status, proving to the world that I was successful. But I paid the price. These women always expected expensive gifts, luxury trips, and high-end restaurants. I spent more and more money on them, hoping to win their attention, yet they never truly cared about me as a person. They didn't ask about my dreams, my struggles, or my thoughts. To them, I was just someone who could buy them a brand-name handbag to show off. At first, the illusion worked. Compliments flowed in: "You looks great, your car is so nice, you must be doing really well for yourself." Each word was like fuel to my fragile self-esteem. But behind the polished image was a reality I refused to acknowledge. I was drowning in debt, stretched far beyond my limits, and living in constant anxiety. Then, the breaking point came. An unexpected financial setback shattered the illusion I had so carefully built. Credit card bills piled up, loan payments loomed, and suddenly, the things that once made me feel important became heavy chains dragging me down. I found myself in a situation I never thought I would be in, struggling to make ends meet, avoiding calls from creditors, and feeling utterly alone. Facing huge debt, I had no choice but to move back to my mom's house. The shame of it weighed heavily on me. I had once prided myself on being independent, but now I was back where I started, dependent on the very person I had tried so hard to prove myself to. To make ends meet, I took on a part-time job on weekends, working tirelessly to regain the life I once had. But doing two jobs drained me completely. I was constantly exhausted, my body running empty, my mind filled with stress. One day, I collapsed at work. When I woke up in the hospital, the doctor told me I needed rest and that I was severely lacking proper nutrition. That night, back at home, I stood in my room and took a long, hard look at my life. My expensive brand-name clothes sat in my closet, untouched, collecting dust. My once prized sports car stood in the driveway, a silent reminder of my reckless spending. And then I looked in the mirror. The face staring back at me was pale, worn out, and empty. That was the moment I knew I had made a terrible mistake. This was not the life I wanted. I realized then that I had been chasing the wrong dream all along. Instead of working one stable job and advancing my career, I had jumped from job to job just to make quick money. Instead of finding joy in simple pleasures, watching a movie, reading a book, or relaxing after work, I had exhausted myself in an endless pursuit of wealth and validation. Instead of searching for a genuine partner, someone who would sit on a park bench with me, happily sharing a single hot dog. I had wasted my time and money on people who only cared about luxury and status. What I truly wanted was not an exhausting chase for money, nor the constant feeling of inadequacy. I wanted a simple, fulfilling life. A life where I could come home after work, enjoy a peaceful evening, and build something meaningful for the future. I should have been saving my money to put down payment on a small house or apartment, securing a stable future for myself. Instead, I was living with my mother, borrowing from her hard-earned life savings just to pay off my debt. When I looked at the wrinkles on her face, the realization hit me even harder. I had not been taking responsibility as a son. I had been so focused on impressing the world that I had failed the one person who had always supported me unconditionally. The road to recovery was humbling. I sold the car I couldn't afford, downsized my lifestyle, and slowly chipped away at my debt. But the hardest part wasn't the financial struggle. It was letting go of the idea that my value was tied to what I owned. It was facing the reality that the admiration I sought so desperately was fleeting and conditional. The people who truly cared about me never needed me to prove anything. Through this painful lesson, I learned a truth that I wish I had embraced earlier. Real success is not measured by comparisons or material possessions. It is found in self-acceptance, in living within one's means, and in defining worth through character rather than currency. Vanity had led me into a trap, but humility and self-awareness helped me find my way out. Now, when I see others flaunting their latest purchases or seemingly perfect lives, I no longer feel the urge to compete. Instead, I remind myself of the cost of that mindset, the anxiety, the debt, the emptiness. And in doing so, I choose something far more valuable: peace. I share this story not as a lesson, but as a confession. If you find yourself caught in the same cycle of comparison and vanity, I hope my experience serves as a reminder that the race is not worth running. You are enough as you are, without the need to prove it to the world. And once you truly believe that the weight of vanity lifts, making room for something far greater, freedom. Thank you for watching. Take good care of yourself. See you next time.